Hey guys, just showing you the Pokemon crochet kit that you'll get. I received this as a gift from my brother for Christmas, and this really cute yarn ball. So first things first, when you pop it open, you're gonna see all your yarn, your brown, black, yellow. It did come with some felt pieces, glue, and a needle, a crochet hook, your stuffing, and then the instructions. And then right away, the instructions say you need to unwind the yarn and roll it into balls for every single color so that you don't get it all tangled up. And I did find this took quite a bit of time rolling each of them into tiny little balls. I did get them tangled occasionally, but I tried to do it really methodically so that I wouldn't have any issues with this. Then I just took some time to familiarize myself with the crochet pattern, and I got busy. All right, why don't we jump into pros and cons of purchasing this crochet kit, which becomes Pikachu. First of all, how adorable is the product once you're done? It is so cute. It's just this tiny little thing in your hands. You can hold it, you can set it on a desk. Really adorable. I was very excited to have completed this. It seemed like it took a lot of steps, but let's run through all the pros and the cons. So the first thing that I noticed was that the yarn was really great quality. It also came with every single thing that you needed. Literally, the only thing it didn't come with are scissors, and pretty much everyone has scissors in a junk drawer, so I'm not too worried about that. Not only did it come with the Pikachu, it also says on the back that it has these Pokemon that you can make that is in the pamphlet, which it totally is. It's got all those Pokemon in here and instructions on how to do everything from magic circle, increase, decrease. I mean, the pattern book is really outstanding, and I was very excited to see that. Seriously, you could probably learn how to do this all just by looking at the book because it is very detailed. Moving forward to the cons, because it did have some cons. So the first one is that if you have never made amigurumi, if it's your first time, this might be a difficult project for you. And I don't know if it's just me saying that because I usually work with bigger yarn, but I had a hard time making the tiny pieces when you first start out with the magic ring, and then building up on that and stuffing them as I got to the end, because I waited until all of them were done before I stuffed them, which some of them, like the arms and the legs, were a lot harder to do that. I wouldn't call it your first amigurumi project. Is it doable? Totally, but I wouldn't recommend it for your first. This Pikachu pattern was considered easy, so usually it starts with beginner, easy, I think intermediate. So it does tell you that the beginner projects are going to be more Snorlax and Jigglypuff, and the easy projects are Eevee, Pikachu, and Psyduck. But there were lots of color change around the ear, and the tail had a little bit. I don't have too much trouble color changing, so that wasn't what was hard for me. It was just the size of the yarn that I was working with. And the hook that it comes with is a 2.5 millimeter hook, which is very small. Here's the hook that it came with. Let's see. And now talking about the cons of what comes in the package, of course, I do think that a lot of this is user error, but my hook ended up breaking in the middle of crocheting the body of Pikachu. And I know that it's because I have really tight tension with my hooks. It just snapped off right there somewhere along the middle where most of the bend was happening. I was very sad because I did like the shape of this hook. It reminds me of the Susan Bates hooks, which I like a lot. And I had to go buy another one. I couldn't find at my local Walmart size 2.5. So I did have to buy a 2.75 hook. So I would just plan on buying another hook just in case. I do think it was my tension. I don't think it was necessarily the hook, but I will say I don't think this hook is as flexible as the one that comes in the kit. So just keep that in mind. It may be flexible. You may want another hook. Now, the next con that I had, I'm a little unsure about because I don't know if it's, again, user error, but the cheeks on Pikachu, my husband and I both noticed that they're kind of large, and he said, well, of course, they're too large. They need to be cut. And when you look at Pikachu, yeah, the cheeks do look a lot larger on Pikachu here. I measured that by taking this. I found something that was similar in size, and I placed it over the top, so it's pretty much the identical size, and I used that to trace onto the felt, and it turned out to be the same size. I have no idea what went wrong other than I think that the actual pattern template is slightly larger than what it should be. Just side note, if you do end up buying this kit and you make the cheeks, you may make them just a tiny bit smaller, maybe just until they look right to you. So just keep that in mind. And then in reference also to just the felt and cutting it out yourself, anytime you're working with felt, it's going to be difficult to cut it to the right size. I honestly wish that pattern books like this, whenever they have templates in there, I wish they would just give you like a little cardboard thing that you could tear out in the very back. See, like this, it's really hard to try to figure out how you're supposed to trace that or how big it's supposed to be, because all it gives you is a grid and the color on top of that grid. For me, I'm just really bad at cutting things out without trying to actually cut them out of the book, which you can't do that on this book because on every single backside there's an important picture that you want, obviously. So I'll probably have to get some tracing paper or something to trace these better and then make like little cardboard templates that are much easier to keep a hold of than trying to trace over what's in the pattern. But I can't really blame that on the book. It actually, there's a lot of books that I just wish that they would include like a little tear out sheet or something that you could have for easy reference. It's no shade on this kit at all. It's just, maybe that's my personal preference. I wish people who made these things thought about how difficult it is to try to trace them out afterwards. But aside from that, finished product, super cute. Book that it comes with, really awesome because you can make 5 other Pokemon with it. So I'm definitely going to make all of them, not immediately, but I will make them in the future. It does take a while. I'm going to be using different yarn. Even though I do like this size, I think it's a good little size. Very beautiful, but I'm going to be using bigger yarn just because it's easier for me to work with. So overall, I would rate this crochet kit a 4 out of 5. Obviously ends up with this super adorable Pikachu at the end of it, but the difficulty of the yarn, having to roll it up yourself, and also keeping in mind that the cheeks are probably not going to be 2 size in the actual pattern template, is something to keep in mind just to cut it smaller. So let me know in the comments below if you made any of the crochet kits for the Pokemon and what your thoughts were in terms of their size, the yarn that you worked with, and if you ended up really loving it. This one is going to my husband. He did ask to keep Pikachu once I was done with it. So yes, he will have this. I'm excited to make my own one day for my little space, but when I get around to it. I have other things that I'm going to be working on for a while. That is all for this video, for this review. If you have anything else that you'd like for me to review in the future, just leave me a comment below and I will check it out. Bye!